gone live. Alright, we're loading in here to Brazil. What a way to start. What a way to start this penultimate round. Alright, here we are. I am Elmer Jacko. I'm joined by Will Ans in the commentary box. This is the Coleslaw Cup. This is round 14 out of 15 in Season 2, right at the business end of the season. It's Interlagos, as we may have mentioned already, and both championships could be decided today.
Wow!
Yeah.
I am so excited.
Alright, well the link is posted in the Discord, so everything should be ready for this, I believe, 17 player lobby. We've got the championship contenders both here, I believe, yes. Dace is there. Dace is on a run of form of recent times, however, he does need to catch up at least a few points to Ryan Rods to keep this championship alive, as does his team. They need to catch Ferrari. And we've got rain in this qualifying session. The race is due to be completely dry, but not qualifying. So we may see some differences. I don't know about Peter's choice of softs there. Everyone else currently on inters. And no one in a rush to come out of the pits. Oh.
No, I mean, it's going to dry up at some point, so I wouldn't be surprised if people waited. There's a couple of people coming out now. There's a Red Bull there as well of either Cam or Sharia, I'm not sure which one.
Yeah, I think Nicky might be the first to brave the conditions at the moment. He gets very close to the pit exit wall.
He can't keep it on the track in the dry.
Well, maybe he finds it easier in the wet. Well, we shall find out. Aston Martin driving around right now, already in Sector 2. We should say that the Drivers' Championship currently, there is a 37-point gap between first and second. They are the only two that can mathematically be victorious this season. Ryan Rods leads. Dace, second, needs to close in by at least 5 points. A draw by the end of the final round will not do for Dace because he will not be able to win as many races as Ryan Rods. The gap between Ferrari and Williams, the only two constructors still in this fight, is 80 points. So a disaster would need to befall Ryan here, who is the lone Ferrari, so there is quite a chance that Williams will catch up, but not necessarily by the amount they require. And with that said, the first car is about to cross the line to start their lap. Let's jump on board here with Nicky. Do you want to take us through this lap, Will?
Sure thing. Manages to not invalidate through the centre S's, and then does full Nicky moment, but manages to save it. You know, that's about it, really. Once at the summary. I don't think he's going to be able to set any sort of decent lap time now. He's struggling with a bit of understeer through there as well. Although I doubt he's really going to be pushing too much after that moment. Yeah, look, he's really struggling. He needs to... I think it would be sensible for him to pit. If you're struggling to keep it on the track in the wet and it's going to dry up, don't bin your car before it dries up and start last. This lap doesn't matter, essentially, because we know it's going to go to dry, so...
Yeah, I think the case is just
no
keep the car on the track, set maybe a banker, there's nothing wrong with that, but definitely don't bin the car. Through Junqiao now, and in fact the car behind, that was an Alpine, I'm not sure which one, was it Scavney? Yeah, it was Scavney. Scavney went off completely at Maguglio. Sorry if I'm butchering Brazilian pronunciations, but I think it's called Maguglio. There it is, Nicky goes to the top. And even with coming off onto the grass, Scavney beats it by more than a second.
And then there goes the Krautsalat by 2 seconds, so...
Yep, Ligona right to the top of the standings early on, with Red Eye now 2/10 back. What a drive it was by Red Eye in Japan last week. Unbelievable scenes in the wet there. Not pitting. Great podium drive by the McLaren man. And also, we couldn't find his previous standings when we were about to interview him last week. That was because he only had 1 point up to that point. So 1 point for the first 12 rounds and then slaps in a podium. Amazing stuff. Now I think we saw Nicky there in the Aston Martin perpendicular to the track, having made an error. Where was that? Decided a Largo, I think. Cam Tissell goes to the top, by the way, and Slayer joins him on the front row provisionally. Yep, there is damage to that Aston Martin front wing, so he'll definitely be heading to the pits. Second Aston Martin this week is piloted by Texas Tornado, who I believe is a reserve, on his first lap currently, so we'll stick with that for a while. Through to Zeta Delago, hopefully doesn't end up the same way his teammate does, and negotiated pretty well. Up through Ferradura, not taking too many risks. Leaves a bit of exit space on the outside as well. After this tight middle sector can be difficult to get on the power without losing the rear, but again, seems pretty planted from Texas here, doing a good job. Sweeping down can be very difficult in these conditions as Electric Blade now goes to the top. He's been impressive in his first two outings in the last 2 weeks in the Coleslaw Cup with a 3rd and a 4th place respectively. I'll just double check that actually, make sure it's been 3rd and 4th. 3rd and 5th, excuse me. Texas there went 3rd actually, so again, another great effort. Dusty also puts his AlphaTauri in the top 4. Who should we jump on board with? Possibly the championship leader would be a good idea, but he's on an outlap currently. Army Forever here representing Mercedes, about to enter the 3rd sector.
We've got an important decision to make as well. We have.
Sorry, go on.
We have cookies and cream flavoured hot chocolate, or we have carrot cake flavoured hot chocolate. 2 hot chocolates left for 2 rounds left. So essentially we're deciding what will be the season finale chocolate as well.
Wow, the pressure's on. This is a real decision to be made.
Yeah.
What are you leaning towards, Will?
I really can't decide. Because on one hand, I feel like cookies and cream may be nicer, so I want to leave that till the last one. But then also, I think carrot cake might be more interesting, so I want to leave that to the last one. But also, if it's interesting, I kind of want to know now. I don't know.
Have you satisfied your vegetable intake for the day?
What did I have? I had those
carrot
dairy
flavoured
stacker
hot
things.
chocolate permissible?
You know, you get those plastic tubs and they've got like the little crackers in there, and then you get the little slices of cheese, and you put the cheese between the crackers, and you know, like the things you eat when you're like 8 years old. Have one of them. I had that was my lunch. Was crackers and cheese, Dairy Lee pack for 12-year-olds, and a pint of Foster's.
Wow.
I had some mini Oreos as well.
Well, this is truly an improving track right now, because we had Knuckles go to the top, then we had Cynical go to the top, Dace just improved, then Ryan beats them all, goes into a 14-9. Dusty now puts himself on the provisional front row of the grid, with Texas Tornado jumping to 4th. So we must be approaching the soft phase soon of this qualifying session. In fact, we already have some drivers sitting on them.
Moving swiftly onwards.
I'm sorry, I just need to cover what we need to be talking about, you know. We can always head back to this conversation at any point. Maybe once you've concocted your brew.
Well, I haven't decided which one as Knuckles peels into the pits. There we are. Look, I'm covering the session as well.
There you go. Very good.
Cynical coming through the final corner.
I'm impressed.
With very limited ERS. Which he isn't burning, so it doesn't look like he's on a push lap. Neither is Texas Tornado. Dace is not either, so I think he'll be pitting as well, maybe.
It seems like a lot of drivers
like
are heading to the pits.
No, he's going to carry on.
Ryan goes.
It does look like it's certainly getting closer to the dry conditions.
Oh yes, and the session is, still less than halfway through, so there will be plenty of time for the track to have maybe 1 or 2 soft runs. It's a short lap time, 1:14 in wet conditions. Probably looking at 109s in full dry, maybe 108s. Yeah, no, 108s makes more sense. But I'm not sure we'll get to that full potential of the slicks this session. Remains to be seen, although it looks very dry now, looking around Army's car. Sharia and Slayer exit the pits on soft tyres. Let's see how they're experiencing the track. They won't be pushing full tilt yet, but it will be interesting to see if they have any grip. DRS enabled, that's always a sign that the track has transitioned into a dry surface, at least dry enough such that the slick tyres will be more beneficial than anything else. So before we jump on board with Sharia this lap, have you made your decision, Will?
To be honest, no.
Huh. Alright, well, on board with Sharia. Heading into turn 1, and this will become the Senna S here. Obviously named after world champion of this country, Brazil, Ayrton Senna. Opens the DRS. First man to open DRS on a flying lap this session. Down to Cedar de Lago. And it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good so far here for Sharia. He's got a purple first sector, no surprises there whatsoever. Down 1 gear only for Ferradura. Okay. That's reasonable. And now... Yes, Will?
I wonder if anybody in chat would like to assist with this. Let's get the community engagement going on.
That's a fantastic
Carrot cake
idea.
or cookies and cream, chat? Anyway, back to the thing that we actually tuned in for.
Wow, 6.5 seconds up so far through 2 sectors for Sharia. Blasts up the hill. He's going to have a second helping of DRS to aid his improvement here. He always hug the left in qualifying at the end of your lap. And there it is, a 9-1.
Bang, bang, bang.
Well done, Sharia. Let's have a look at Slayer. I thought Slayer. No, he's coming into the pits, so he invalidated. He'll look for another set of tyres to guide him higher up the grid. Nicky's gone second. We missed that. Well done to Nicky. And the times are piling in now. Red Eye goes second. Peter has gone fourth.
Hey, Peter.
We'll have a look at Ryan here. He's about to start his lap. Several times are going to come in the meantime, including Lanzi into the 7s. An incredible lap this early into the dry phase. Alright, Sol Ferrari here. Doesn't have to worry about stacking in the race. That will make it a little bit easier for him. Goes a bit wide, I think, through turn 1, but recovers well for the Senna S. There's the DRS once again. Blasting down to end first sector. Is it going to be purple? It's not, but there is a 1.6 second advantage on his previous lap. Cynical goes to second. Ferradura always as well in 6th gear. Into this tricky middle sector. Turns 8 and 9 there. And now 10. What gear does he take it in? 4th gear. 4th gear to keep the wheel spinner in check. Flowing through Bagulio. Looked like it was flat for him there. Purple middle sector. Through Junchao. Takes the curb on the exit which I wasn't necessarily expecting. And now flying towards the end of the lap. Again, hug the left, quickest way to the line. And does he go to pole? No. He goes second place. That's about a quarter of a second shy of Lanzi there. So he'll now rush back to the pits, probably set another, put another set of softs on this Ferrari, and go again. Alright, Shelley's on an outlap here. He's one of one car without a time so far. Needs to put a time on the board for Williams and help them potentially stay in this championship fight as a constructor. He's got a car in front of him who, for his sake, I hope is going to be entering the pits or letting him through, and it's the latter. Now with this amount of fuel, Shelley's going to get one crack at this only. And this is that attempt. The turtle starts his lap. Applies the brakes for the first time. Looks like it's a pretty well apex turn 1. Nice there. First apex of Senna S was spot on. And onto the DRS straight. He's going to have traffic hopefully letting him through before Descida de Largo. And yes, the Aston Martin is out of the way. Not too distracting for the Williams man. Let's see what gear he takes Ferradura in, and it's again 6th gear. Okay, so it seems that most drivers agree on that. Oh, we have a comment. We have a comment. Let's check if it's got anything to do with the... Yep, Will, you've got an instruction. Scavney has said cookies and cream.
Scavney unfortunately took too long.
No.
Because I commenced a random selection process where I started juggling them, and the first one I dropped was the one that I had.
Alright, we'll wait for that surprise reveal. Shelley going to cross the line here with an 8.8. I think he made a slight error in the second half of that lap, unfortunately. That's pretty much the end of his session, though. So he's, at best, 6th place this race on the grid. So, which mixture fell first?
I went with the carrot cake, you know, but the thing is, I opened the sachet, and for the first time, I didn't go, that smells nice.
Oh no.
I went, smells like carrots.
Well, I wouldn't imagine any of the other ones would have smelt like carrot, to be fair. Alright, Cynical is marginally up on his time through the first sector, although it is a very short sector. Most time you can make up on this particular circuit of Interlagos is going to be in the middle sector, around the lake, or actually within the lake, I believe. Interlagos. Does that mean within the boundaries of the lake? Does the lake go around the track, or is it within the track? I don't remember. Let's have a look at the track map. Where's the lake? Oh, the lake's just next to the track, okay. Cynical puts in a very impressive 3rd place lap there, by the way. In a car that I can only describe as matching the carrots of Will's drink. Cam Tizzle has slotted into 4th with an 8.3 as well, just behind Cynical. Let's have a look at Ryan. He's currently on his final lap, everyone in fact on their final lap, as the timer hits 0. And Ryan is not improving so far. Needs to find over a 10th in this final sector to beat his own time, let alone Lanzi's, which is already more than 2/10 up the road. So I think that is probably not going to be challenged, at least by the Ferrari. And indeed, no improvement. Let's jump to Dace, who's currently 16th. Needs to find improvement to start anywhere near the front. And it looks good, actually. Goes second, though. half a tenth shy of Lanzi, so neither championship combatant will get the bonus point for pole position. Currently looks like Lanzi's going to take that point, unless anyone can do anything about it. Red Eye, Sharia won't be able to do anything. Let's have a look at Dusty. He finds time, goes to 6th place. A lot of 108.3s there. And that just leaves Texas Tornado, who is not on the circuit currently. He's invalid as well. So it seems that will be session over. Yep, the Kimi Raikkonen line being taken here by the Aston Martin that currently sits 12th.
Well, do you want the grand reveal on the quality of the carrot cake?
I think we'd love it. Slurping noises.
That is actually really, really nice.
Ah, so the smell was probably the worst, but the taste up there with the best.
Mm. 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 Yeah, that's top 12 for sure.
How many have you had?
11.
Oh dear.
No, it's top 5, I think.
Okay.
It's very nice. It's very nice. The cookies and cream sounds like it's going to be very nice, but I feel like it's going to be underwhelming. We'll see.
I guess we'll find out in 7 days' time. But for now, let's have a look at the grid. It is our resident Dutchman Lanzi on pole, with Dace second in the championship, second on the grid here in Brazil. Then it's championship leader Ryan Rodds with Cynical beside him. Great job there by Cynical. Probably one of his best qualifying efforts we've seen so far. Cam Tizzle also in the top 5. Then it's Dusty with a time super close to 4th, but unfortunately for him only 6th. And it's Slayer, Red Eye, Shuria and Shelley making up the remainder of the top 10. And Knuckles also within a second of pole. Then we see the Aston Martins there, Linus Stern 12th and 13th, Texas and Nicky. Scavney down there in 14th, Peter in 15th, the Mercedes right at the back there with Army and Electric Blade. In fact, Electric Blade didn't get a soft time in. His intermediate time is listed there. So I believe everyone will be eligible for Driver of the Day point. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one. 17 drivers. Let's see how this race turns out. Any early predictions for the race, Will, or perhaps surprises from this particular session?
I mean, Lancy's done well, but I'd expect him to be up there. That's very close with Dace. Remains to be seen if Lancy will quite have the same race pace as Dace and Ryan Rodds. I think Ryan Rodds seems to... I'm not sure actually. What do you think about this? Do you think his race pace, Ryan Rodds, seems to be stronger than his qualifying pace slightly? I mean, I think they're pretty well matched, but I think he does usually do slightly better in the race.
Yeah, I think
that
so.
might be tweaking.
It's probably pretty close. You wouldn't say he's a slouch in qualifying, but he's certainly. I think he certainly has a better average pace in the race.
Yeah, and I'd say Dace has a better average pace in the qualifying as well. If we were to switch that one around, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I want to see if Shelley can like finish the race and not kill somebody else with his ineptitude. If Nicky can stop himself from spinning, that'd be awesome. But significantly less funny as well. So I don't mind either way.
You're a harsh critic, aren't you, Will?
Yeah. Unless you're carrot cake hot chocolate. Pretty nice then. This is very nice though. Must admit.
Alright, formation lap is already
Couldn't be the
underway.
best.
And let's have a look at what tyres have been selected. Wow, okay, not a single set of hards of the 17 drivers, 16 sets of mediums, one lone soft runner, and that is resident tyre god Scavney from 14th on the grid. Most drivers would choose probably a medium to hard strategy due to tyre wear. I think Scavney is well within his limits to make soft medium work. However, whether that's the quickest way to approach the race, I somewhat doubt. He might have to go to hards
pulls
as
out
well.
a cheeky two-stop.
That's
Not
always
sure if that's
possible.
viable around here, but
It is possible.
think it
I mean,
would be.
safety cars can always influence these decisions as well.
You do get a few safety cars here, even with how far away the walls are in a lot of places. You get a lot of car-on-car DNFs, I think.
Yeah,
So
well,
turn
4,
four, the end
the
of
exit of
second
that.
straight.
Yeah.
It's often a spin and then a smash. It's probably going to be Shelley or Nicky killing someone. My money would be on Shelley.
Yeah, we're talking about the Cedar de Lago there, turn 4. If you get onto the exit curb, it can sort of pitch you into the inside wall, which is very close to the circuit. I think that's the most likely place for a safety car to be caused. There's always spinning off at the centre S's, but again, there's a bit more space to the wall, so that's usually just a wing breakage. However, we now have a view of the cars lining up on the grid. Penultimate race of the season is about to begin. A couple of cars unable to line up in their grid box correctly will get
No spins,
disqualified from that formation lap, but no 360s, as Will points out. So here we go, revs are building, the lights are not in my view currently, but I assume are on, and off they go. Who gets the best launch on the front row? It looks to be Lanzi.
Yeah, it's a good start from Lanzi. Ryan wants to get himself alongside Dace, trying to hang it on the outside, which will turn to the inside. Dace leaves the room, and then we'll have the tighter line on the exit, which helps him power away. Cynical is nowhere near behind them. Somebody else
Shelley's
at the
off.
back. It's Shelley the Turtle, who made it 2 corners less than I predicted.
Wow.
Cynical just has to watch on here as Ryan hassles Dace, Knuckles and Scavney switching spots as well. Scavney gets that move done down the inside on his softs. Sharia getting a run on Texas Tornado, but I doubt he will be foolish enough to put his wing into that corner. Looks like Dace and Ryan Mods might be fighting a little bit soon though, so Lanzi needs to try and use this opportunity to try and get away if he can, if that eventuality does come to pass.
Yep, drivers fighting over a second and third is always a good opportunity to get away if you're the race leader, particularly before DRS is enabled, which will be at the end of lap 2. Sharir under a bit of pressure here from 11th place man Electric Blade, who did start last, so this has been a great opening lap for that Znaides driver. Having a look back from the Sharir's wing, it looks like 10th place is under threat here. Around the outside will be the attempt, and it's late braking for Electric Blade. I think he's going to get this done. No, there's contact, and they spin into each other. That is in the middle of the road for Sharir too, but he's ghosting, thankfully. Shelley passes both of them. Difficult to tell who was at fault there, whether it was a racing incident. I don't think Electric Blade had much more space to work with, so unfortunate there. Both Aston Martins now find themselves in the top 10. And there's contact. Texas Tornado into the rear of Red Eye, pushes him wide and may take advantage, although Red Eye still remains on the left side and takes the position back. Oh, it's a bit wild there, but stays in check. Cynical falling off the back of the top 3. Have a look at the battery percentages. Dace is lowest of the top 3, and Ryan sets the fastest lap. Lanzi will really struggle to get away now because the DRS is on 2 straights and they're pretty powerful. Here on the Rata Aposta is the first opportunity for Dace and Ryan to open their rear wings. There you see the flap open on the Ferrari, and yeah, getting away now will be very difficult unless there's battling between Dace and Ryan.
Yeah, Electric Blade and Shelley getting into it. Shelley tries to move his way back up. He was 4 seconds off Army and he already is back past him again after less than 2 laps. Texas Tornado and Unholy Red Eye is off. Must have had some contact there with Texas Tornado, I think. Let's hope he rejoins safely, as he will be rejoining sort of onto the racing line. But yep, he did wait very patiently there. Unholy Red Eye, credit to him. He could have just rejoined in front of everybody, but he probably lost about an extra 5 seconds there by making sure he did it safely. So shout out to him.
Scavney now approaching the back of Nicky, looking for 9th place here on the soft tyre.
The Scavney duo strikes again.
Indeed.
As we get towards turn 1. Scavney might have the overspeed to actually make a move down the inside.
No.
Here
he realises he's got another opportunity down the Rotor Acosta.
That was me.
Of course, of course. But then you would have given DRS for the car behind for this next one, and this is more likely the spot where Scavney will blast past, and there it is. Yeah, no defence from Nicky.
Shelley getting past Peter DRH as well, who maybe had a slight issue. Oh my God, Peter!
Woo!
What on earth?
Shelley with the reactions of a hare there.
Absolutely. Goodness me.
He was almost steamrolled. I mean, that was close.
Clipped and shipped.
Alright, let's go back to the front battle.
We say in the business.
It's a race of 3 drivers. You got Lanza, you got Dace, you got Ryan. No positions swapped between the 3 of them yet, but they are gapping the rest of the field. Cynical's still doing a great job there in 4th place. But it is difficult to live up to the speed of these 3 guys. All the while though, Dace is burning his battery more than the other 2 competitors. So longevity wise, it looks a little bit better for Lanzi and Ryan. Don't forget that Ryan can afford to just sit here, right behind his championship rival. As long as Dace doesn't win the race, 3rd place should be enough for Ryan here to just see a look at the championship. Scavney now suffering on those softs already. 5 laps into the Grand Prix, the gap between him and the car in front is marginally increasing rather than decreasing. AlphaTauri doing a steady job there in 6th and 7th. Dusty and Slayer. A very consistent pairing. Let's have a look at where they are in the Constructors' Championship actually. Okay, so AlphaTauri sit 5th currently. There is a potential they could challenge Aston Martin, who I'm surprised to see are actually ahead currently. With Red Bull behind both of those teams, also with a reasonable chance of overtaking them. Only 4 different teams have won this season. Last week was Mercedes' first win. Alpine have 2 victories, both for Lanzi. 2 victories also for Williams in Dace's hands, and all the rest for Ferrari in a combination of Ryan and Scornsy's single victory in Imola.
And it's we've seen this a few times with the front 3 guys where they're all sort of so matched on pace. They just kind of chill. Although Dace is a little bit closer to Lanzi, not close enough. Cam Tizzle kind of close to Cynical as well, but still I don't think that will be enough.
It might be soon though, because if you look at the battery percentages, Cam Tizzle's got pretty much half a battery more than Cynical. So in a few laps time you may see him just dump that battery and blast past with the benefit of DRS as well.
And did I miss something with Sharia Coleslaw? Why is he P15?
Yeah, he came together with Electric Blade on lap 2 at the centre S.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yep. And there's a crash.
That's a big crash. That's a big crash. Shelley
That'll be a
Electric
safety car
Blade.
for sure. Let's jump on board with
And
Peter.
I knew turn 4,
Yep.
Shelley would spin and he would take someone out. Did I call it or did I call it? I'm going to feel so bad when the clips get sent in and it was like totally not on Shelley at all, but I don't care. I'm claiming it.
Yep. Descida de Lago
strikes
once again. Oh, we both say again. Nice. Yep, that is the corner. I think both of us predicted, to be fair, and it is.
And Reynolds carries on. Dayton lands in.
Oh, that is what I was going to say. What do the leaders do? And that is, I'm going to say,
this is what
a bit surprising.
Scavney was banking on.
Surely, if you are the championship leader, you just cover off your rival. Although, was pitting even the right decision? These guys have gone to hards. So do we believe hards can survive the rest of the race? What do we think about that? My notes say 25 laps. 25 laps means they need to be at... You know what, it's possible, because that's green flag laps. We're going to have a few here behind the safety car. A bit of tyre saving, and you can make that last. But Ryan will be able to push for his entire race, which will make a difference, especially as he has track position and 4 cars of buffer who also remain on mediums. So he will get away from Lanzi and Dace. This is now very interesting. Now don't forget, last week Lanzi did lead in Suzuka until a safety car in which he pit under. So for him, this is a little bit of deja vu, and he'll hope that the same thing does not happen, in which he just gets mired in the midfield and cannot progress back towards the front.
Yeah, and for those hard tyre runners, are we just going to take these hards to the end? I mean, I'm sure they'd survive. You know what the hard tyres are like.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
I believe you'd need to do a bit of saving to make it work. You could not drive flat out the entire way without getting to a puncture range, in my opinion.
But I think more importantly is what will be the quicker way of doing things. Reynolds is always like this with the safety car. You see how close he gets to it? He did this in Austria and lost his wing.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
Ryan's
understand
almost less
So no go,
comfortable
Ryan.
at low
Come on, Ryan.
speeds, it would seem.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Australia he had trouble under safety car. In Japan he had trouble under safety car. It's very odd, but it seems to be a fact.
Yeah. I'm wondering, am I crazy, or is he just putting needless risk? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but yeah, it does seem unnecessary.
We've got some feedback from the 2 drivers who are out of the race. A lot of swearing from one of them. Yeah. So apparently there's well, we saw earlier when Sharia was perpendicular to the track, his car ghosted, and a few cars, I believe, went through him. It seems that was not the case for Shelley, who it seems believes he's a victim of ghosting not occurring. Electric Blade obviously also part of that. Seems quite agitated currently, which I can understand certainly. Either way,
I'd be
safety car
agitated
is
if I had
in
to
this
share a
lap.
racetrack with
That's
Shelley.
a very late
That was
call.
late. That's because Peter just caught up at the very end of the field.
Alright, well that
And
is
Ryan's
a
gone.
great
He's caught
restart
Cynical
from Ryan
massively
Rhodes.
lapping. Lapping?
Cynical was, I mean, he was fully asleep. That wasn't just a nap. He's like in a coma. That's how far back he is. Cam
Yeah,
Tizzle.
and Texas Tornado managing to get himself alongside. Slayerized. Slayer leaves the space where he probably didn't need to. I think he got a little bit of oversteer, and that might put Lanzi on the back of him, who elects not to grab the toe, but he's just got so much overspeed though. He should make this move pretty comfortably. Yeah, Slayer just can't hang that around the outside. Maybe he has some damage or
Dace
something. Maybe
follows
some cold
through
tyres.
as well.
He's really struggling, because yeah, Dace follows him through, and now Dusty is on the back of his teammate. AlphaTauri Civil War.
Yep, they were together prior to the safety car, and one of them pitted, one of them didn't, and they're already back together, which indicates, at least for Dusty, that pitting was the right call. And there is that swap. Whether that's teamwork or not, hard to tell, but okay, there's some further... Oh, around goes Slayer, number 13, is not lucky in this scenario. Falls back to 15th place. MMR making up 2nd, 14th and 15th. Let's have a look at Lanzi. He needs to dispose of the traffic as soon as possible, although the traffic shouldn't be too slow, being on better tyres. Ryan Rodds already finds 2 seconds of pace over his fellow medium runners. We'll be looking to increase that as much as he can over the likes of Lanzi and Dace. I don't have a note for how long the pit transit is here, unfortunately, so that's the kind of gap he will be looking to extend towards, at least over, say, net third, so he can have as few cars to pass as possible when he gets onto his set of hards, assuming that's the choice he makes. But now let's have a look at Lanzi. The Alpine is right in the wheel tracks of Texas Tornado's Aston Martin. He's deploying some battery as well. Let's see what... Yep, they both are, in fact. Not sure whether it's super worth fighting it here for Texas, as he squeezes the Alpine. Makes contact, I believe, at least a little bit of contact, and there is his race ended. That was entirely unnecessary, in my opinion, to defend someone who's on a completely different strategy, and it brings out the safety car.
This is really good for Lanzi as well.
Yeah, and it's terrible for those up front. They need to make this pit stop now, I believe, and they're going to be buried in the pack.
I did say it was going to be one with a few safety cars. There does seem to be a propensity for cars hitting each other and DNFing in Brazil.
Yeah, in fact,
unfortunately,
I think that there's a bit of wall that sticks out on the left there, in which the Aston Martin was sort of fed into, so he didn't have much chance once he'd lost control of surviving that impact, I don't think. Either way, I think we're about to see the top 3 enter the pits and select the hard white-walled tyre. Texas Tornado, not surprisingly, tagging Lanzi in the D1 chat.
This is why. This is why, as the championship leader, you cover off.
Absolutely.
Especially when you've got a comfortable lead. You don't. This is what you do if you're behind in the championship and you take that risk.
Yeah. If you need to catch a certain amount of points.
Because look what's happened now.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be buried in the pack.
It's going to drop.
It's going to
so
be
far back now.
You know, like 7% tyre, better tyres, and that's not worth the track position deficit. That looks like 11th place for Ryan Rodds compared to 2nd and 3rd for the drivers he had been battling in that first stint. So we'll say here that Cynical stayed out. He's the only driver who's yet to enter the pits. Stays on his starting mediums. So, I mean, that's certainly a gamble. I don't see that paying off. However, he's not necessarily fighting the cars who are going to be immediately on his tail, so it might be a reasonable idea.
No, I mean, if he can try and DRS Lanzi or Dace, if he can stay close enough after, I'm sure they'll inevitably get past him pretty quickly, so yeah, if you can just use their pace to tug him along, you'll be alright, but...
Ooh, Lanzi got incredibly close to the rear there of the McLaren.
And he's off the track. Nearly lost it then.
Who was that, sorry?
His tyres. Ryan Rodds.
Oh, wow.
Nearly span it. He had to go off in the grass and catch it.
Yeah, also Cam Tizzle there. Unfortunate to be now 12th, having run in the top 5 for the majority of the race, including his qualifying position. So he'll have some pace coming through the field. Oh, is that Cynical now peeling off into the pits? Okay, that's a not advisable strategy, let's put it that way. That's going to see him dead last now. If you're going to make a pit stop, you've got to make it under the first lap of the safety car. That would have kept him at least in front of Cam Tizzle, which would have seen him 11th. He's going to be 14th, I believe, at this rate. No, 13th, because Army is also pitting. Which makes sense. He was at the back. He goes to mediums, gives himself sort of a unique selling point on his strategy, I guess you could call it. I don't know if he'll make that to the end though.
Well, we'll have to wait and see, won't we?
Yeah. At the end of this lap, there will be 22 laps remaining. Can a set of mediums last 22 laps? You know what? I'm going to say, yeah, you probably can make that work. So Lanzi now back to the front of the field where he qualified. Dace back to P2, also where he qualified, but then after that it is a bit different to that qualifying order. Let's have a look at the positions gained actually. Where is that option actually? It's somewhere here. There it is. Scavney, 4th place currently, up 10 from his grid position. Nicky also very impressively up 8 positions, currently in the top 5. Peter also makes 6 positions of improvement. The biggest loss is Cynical with 9 due to this brace of safety cars really scuppering his strategy plans. The safety car continues with 1 car yet to catch the Crocodile, meaning there'll be 21 laps left, potentially of green flag, as there is a swap of positions there in the midfield. What's going on there? They reverted that now. So I'm not sure what happened. On the off chance the order remains as is, it would be very helpful for Dace's championship dreams. He would gain, I believe, 21 points, which would definitely see him within a mathematical possibility of winning the championship in the finale next week. However, I would not bet on the order staying as is, particularly the current 10th place man staying in 10th place. I don't see that realistically occurring. That final race will be in Abu Dhabi in 7 days' time, so join us then as well to see who the second champion of Coleslaw Cup is. But here we go, the safety car is going to pull in this lap. And Lanzi has control of the field. We have support in the chat for Red Eye, by the way. Hello to DM.
Red Eye Fan Club! Red Eye Fan Club, let's go! Hype, 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 hype.
Alright, Lanzi lets his car loose, and it seems that Dace didn't get the grandest restart. It's not terrible, 7/10 is still fine, I guess, but it's certainly not challenging him into turn 1. Let's jump back through the field to see who's side by side, and we got Knuckles and Nicky going side by side there. No change between the two of them. Ryan did pass Peter already though, and he's now applying the blowtorch to Sharia, who's planted his car on the left side of the track. Who brakes later? It's certainly Ryan, but there's contact. Ryan is spinning. Does he get struck? No. Kind of fortunate not to get hit a second time there, but there was a lot of positions lost. He's now 13th. There was 3 wide briefly, as I believe that was Cynical went between his 2 MMR colleagues, which was an incredibly impressive piece of driving. Ryan now negotiates both Slayer and Peter in quick succession. So now sits 11th. Glad I saw that.
Still in the same position?
No, he actually, he was 10th, he went to 9th briefly, went to 14th, and now he sits 11th. He's also got some seriously
11th is where,
weird grip
11th
going
is
on.
where he first came out of the pits, though, wasn't it? The first time he...
yeah, but then Cynical pit, and he went to 10th on the restart. Yeah. I think Ryan may have damage from that contact. I'm not certain, but he seems a bit unstable since that.
An unholy red eye's been spammed by Sharia.
Oh, and Ryan catches a huge sideways moment. He's probably going to be overtaken here. No, there was yellow flags, so he remains ahead of Slayer, who had to back off.
Sharia lost position to Cynical and Cam Tizzle as well.
Yeah, it's all kicking off here.
Red Eye Fan Club in the mud.
Cynical with a seriously wide line there through, I believe that's 5. So that would be turn 5. He's made a lot of positions though, hasn't he? He's already 7th and he came out of the pits in 13th. Cynical having an absolute blinder of a race. Alright, Ryan is already revisiting the rear of this Red Bull. There was contact a lap and a half ago. Around the outside of Magulio is optimistic. And at Jun Chao, does he make it work?
This is a fantastic move.
Oh!
He gets the little bit of oversteer. Sherry's going to use his ERS, sorry, and Slayer Eyes gets
Slayer
past
blast, because
Slayer will
excuse me, he was not checked up.
Actually, because we're not.
Oh, here comes Sharia back with that straight line speed. What's he going to decide to do? Yeah, backs out of that. Probably a wise decision.
So much later. Yeah, no, he's still there. I think I saw the shadow. Yeah, he's still there.
That's a corner cut.
The corner on the inside,
I believe.
Now he tries to hold it around the outside. Slingshot in his way onto this straight. Both of them with the DRS from Ryan Rods. So no advantage to the game there.
No ERS left.
Still trying to hold it down at the inside, which is going to turn to the outside for the next corner. But Sharia might already be behind, and he is. And I don't think he can fight this one back, even though Slayer does leave him the space.
Yeah, Sharia's had a couple of collisions this race so far. Not usually like him, but we'll see if the stewards' reports do get filled at some point. Ryan now though is joining the queue behind Sharia's teammate and a couple of other cars in front of that directly. Knuckles leads this pack. Then it's Cam Tizzle. Sorry,
Cynical making a move for the lead.
Cam Tizzle. Oh, okay, let's jump back to the front.
Takes the lead from Lanzi. Lanzi switchbacks though. He's going to have the DRS here. He's got a lot of ERS as well to play with.
Fastest lap from Ryan as well.
Not to the same extent. Ryan was setting the fastest lap of the race, and maybe not that damage.
Yeah, maybe not.
I don't think Lanzi can fight this one back. He hasn't got the exit, even with the DRS. He's going to be stuck behind Ace, but he didn't really try with the ERS there. Scavney all over the back of Dusty Lusky as well. Cam Tizzle on the back of Ryan Rods also. Cynical putting the pressure on Knuckles.
Yeah, so Dace at the halfway point in this race is looking probably as good as it can be for him championship wise. We'll see if that remains the case after the next 18 laps. Nicky having one of the best drivers of his season so far, currently sitting 5th. Hopefully that remains for him as well. Let's see what his best result has been. Up to this point, a pair of 7ths in Canada and Great Britain. On a run of DNFs though, so he needs to kind of stop that. There's Cynical blasting past Knuckles, but there's going to be 3 cars involved here towards turn 1. It's got a better... Oh, there's contact, and around again goes Ryan Rods. Championship implications for him all over the place. This is just another reason why you have to cover off your championship rivals in that early pit stop phase under safety car. Had to.
Absolute chaos in this midfield. Cam Tizzle gets his way past Knuckles. Did Ryan Rods pick up any damage there? It doesn't look like it.
I don't think he did this time.
He's right on the back of Slayer Eyes. He's still got 16 laps to try and recover this. So he's going to go down the inside of Slayer here. He's completely seen red now. Ryan Rods, he is taking no prisoners, but he's put himself at risk in the process. Perhaps not wise if you're the championship leader, but
Slayer gave space though.
Himself into the negative situation.
Yep, P9 currently. It's not many points, but it's certainly a few, so it's better than completely binning it, I guess. Let's see if Ryan can take P8 in a couple of corners time. I imagine he'll open the rear wing and have a go. Sharia is on not a lot of battery, about half of what Ryan has. So we'll see if Sharia offers a defence here. Hugs the left. It's a defensive line, but let's see what happens here in turn 1 in the centre S. Move complete. Oh, in the background though, around goes the AlphaTauri. Yeah, I think Cynical, by the way, was also taken out in that clash that involved Ryan and Knuckles. Because he is 10th place. I didn't see where exactly he ended up in that, but he has fallen back. Red Eye makes the move on Peter. Goes very wide at the Largo, but remains in front. Closest battle remains these two. Red Eye has significantly less battery though, the car in front, so Peter may be able to challenge him at some point in the near future. Ryan's 3.3 seconds behind Knuckles. Let's see how long it takes him to catch up, if at all he can. Knuckles just onto the back of Cam Tizzle with some DRS still, which will help him at least on this straight. Maybe the next one. If he can stay within that 1 second, it's very close. The texting point is right there as we see a 3-second penalty, and I don't think that was close enough for Knuckles. Yep, there's no opportunity to open the wing. Don't know what Cam Tizzle's defending from up there. He's got a second behind him and he was hard left down Reda Acosta, which is interesting. Nicky's sort of in no man's land here in 5th place. That won't faze him too much. 5th place is a nice place to be in no man's land if your name's Nicky.
Yeah, he'll be happy with that.
Yeah, here we go. Dusty is still tracking Scavney, who's done a fantastic job to find himself up 11 places from his grid spot. Remember, he did start the race on softs and has one stopped onto hards, as have most of the grid. Scavney, though, nowhere near his teammate. In P2, it's Lanzi, 3 seconds up the road.
And Army's outbroke himself. He's gone off into the grass. Slow Ride's getting past. Although I think that move was coming anyway. And yeah, Dusty still in the DRS of Scavney. He's just holding it in there, but neither of them have much ERS. Lansley still keeping close to Dace as well.
Ryan has already just sucked his way up to the back of Knuckles. Not sure if I want to reuse that phrasing, but it's 7th place on the horizon here for the man seeing red in red, and the car in front I guess is red too. We've got yellow flags. That's a McLaren around at the Cedar de Lago. It's shedding positions like a snake sheds its skin, but he has extracted himself from that awkward position. Will lose out down to 13th, and that's cynical. All MMR cars now in a row. Ryan, though, is applying the blowtorch to the Alfa Romeo, who I believe was involved in the accident that saw Ryan spin most recently, and that's a wide moment for Knuckles, who picks up a penalty as he's overtaken. Insult to injury there, and at 7th place for the championship leader. Although Knuckles did pick up the DRS here, so he may have an opportunity to get back past. Indeed, he's going to put his car on the inside. There's further yellow flags. And who is that for? That's for Nicky, no! Nicky's now falling down the order.
There he goes.
It was almost written in prophecy. And there it is.
I prophesied it, and it occurred.
Yeah, the great prophet Will Ans has spoken again. Nicky's still within the top 10 though, so there will be an opportunity to score some decent points. But not the 5th place heights that he had been soaring at moments ago. Do we call that a commentator's curse? I kind of did praise him not that long ago. Probably we do.
To say it's a commentator's curse would suggest that what we said had an impact. And to suggest that Nicky wouldn't have spun without some sort of external factor is absolutely ludicrous.
Point taken.
He would have spun anyway.
Alright, I don't apologise then. Alright, let's move back to the current travels of Ryan Rods. Man, at the moment, is in 6th place. He's got 2.8 seconds between him and the top 5. Cam Tizzle has managed to get himself back to that grid spot that he started in. However, the championship leader would like to take another position if he can. Let's see what 5th position is worth to these guys. Point structure, 5th place is worth 12, 6th is worth 9. So either way, that's a big chunk of points that Dace will be biting into the championship lead if he remains 1st, or indeed 2nd actually. He will definitely prefer 1st over 2nd though, because that's 7 more points that he would take. See Sharia now onto the back of Knuckles, looking for 7th place. Knuckles seems to be going a bit wider than he should be at some of these turns. Indeed, 7th place is technically already sitting with Sharia, given the 3-second penalty applied to the car in front. Although it's possible both of them may be under stewards' inquiries after the race. I don't really know. They've both certainly been involved in collisions with Ryan though, whether it was their fault or not. And here comes the Red Bull. It's got a lot of straight line speed, but I'm not sure it's enough to make a lunge into turn 1. Perhaps the next DRS zone would be more advisable, although it wasn't a great centre S there for Sharia, so next lap perhaps might be his best bet. He's not got the battery to make this work either at the moment.
No, Sharia needs to save up his battery as well. He's burning an awful lot of it trying to get past Knuckles, and he's fully depleted it. And now he's struggling to stay within the DRS. He's made a little bit of a mistake there.
Cynical might be about to make a move.
Of Peter.
Yeah, here he goes.
To the inside, picks up a 3-second time penalty. And Peter washes out wide a little bit as he has to watch Cynical drive on past him, and he can't get the drive to attempt a switchback.
Yeah, a couple of other battles here within DRS.
Scavney has a little bit of a wobble coming out of the penultimate corner. Might put him slightly on the back foot, but he definitely has the pace advantage in the straight line. I think he has the lower wings, Scavney, because he did start to pull away again before Dusty enabled his DRS, and it's going to be very difficult for Dusty to make this pass. Scavney's struggling though. He went deep there again. And we've got yellow flags as well. It's Mercedes of Army Forever that's spun around in the second sector, but he's got him moving again as Sharia gets his way past Knuckles, who might try and fight this one back with his battery advantage. Switchbacks, takes the better line, focuses on getting the drive out of the exit, tucked up in the slipstream. The ERS flowing, the DRS wide open, Sharia's light blinking, down the inside goes Knuckles.
Oh, almost had to look back down the inside there, but oh, it's wide.
And off he goes.
Wide through the seat of Delago. I don't know if that constitutes a move completed off track, but either way, currently the Canadian is in front. Sharia though, breathing down his neck.
It's the Alfa Romeo overtake tactic at that corner.
Nicky's interested in this battle now. He's recovered from his earlier off-track excursion. Dace actually flirting with escaping from Lanzi up the front, but Lanzi now closes back down by 3/10 as I say that. That was with the DRS, of course. A lot of battery in reserve here for Nicky, who takes an incredibly wide line for no real apparent reason there in a flat-out corner. Ryan has caught Cam Tizzle. Let's have a look if he can make a move. There's a defensive manoeuvre there from the Red Bull. Around the outside goes the Ferrari. Not quite enough grip to make the move work though. He's not got much battery to work with. Can he make the move around Ferradura? This would be very impressive. It's risky. It's certainly... yeah, there's contact and around goes Cam Tizzle. He's off the track, ghosting, and will have to rejoin here. He does it in front of the group of 3 who are approaching rapidly and spins. No, catches it. Does he remain in front? Yes, he's got... Oh, was that Nicky spinning? No, he caught it. Okay, Cam Tizzle's certainly got a lot of company here with hot tyres, but he does remain with the track position at the moment, so stays 6th. Will not be impressed with the move of Ryan there, although I could not tell you whether or not there was enough space left. It was a weird camera angle I had, so cannot say who was to blame if either driver was. However, Ryan now sits in the 12-point position and is more than 5 seconds ahead. Should he get a penalty for any of the craziness that's happened so far this race, would have been a lot more straightforward if he'd have just followed the strategy of Dace and Lanzi. But alas, he's taken the long way around and now has 5 seconds to make up on the 2 cars in front of him should he want to challenge for 4th or even 3rd.
Yeah, Sharia's still all over the back of Knuckles, who finds himself in that Red Bull sandwich. Army in the pits as he comes off of those medium tyres, perhaps trying to grab the fastest lap on the softs, but I don't think he'd be quick enough to beat Cynical anyway, and even then Ryan Rods might keep it as is his pace. Knuckles going to be finding himself under a lot of pressure. Sharia's managed to save up a little bit of ERS, not too much, but More than you had previously.
Yep. Army is lapped, and there's... Well, I was going to say, there might be a helpful scenario here for Knuckles if he has DRS, but he does not. Cam has the pace to blast away from the pack behind him, thankfully for him at least.
Sure, might
and this might be the opportunity.
DRS. He's not let it go to 0 though, because he's going to lose a lot of power.
Yeah, Knuckles
down
is...
the inside he goes. He manages to hit
drifts
Knuckles
a little bit
for whatever
left.
reason.
Almost a Vettel Leclerc moment there, but they both survive,
Yeah,
and the move is complete. Scavney has escaped Dusty. That gap is now over the DRS point. Oh, Cynical now puts in the fastest lap of the race. Very good driving there. He of course qualified very well up in 4th. Has fallen down due to a mixture of strategy and I believe at least 1 or 2 collisions / spins. But the fastest lap is at least a consolation prize should that remain with him. I believe there will be a couple of other drivers attempting a fastest lap here towards the end. Lap 31 has begun, so 6 laps remain, 5.5 depending on where you are on track. The gap up the front is as small as it has been in a while. The ERS situation is about double in Lanzy's favour, and he has been tracking as if he is sort of orienteering through the woods looking for the wounded deer of Dace, which is weird because Dace is a fish. I don't think Ryan has the time necessarily to catch Dusty here. He is encroaching on that gap, but not at the rate he needs to, I don't believe. We'll keep an eye on it though. Dace gets a great exit there from Jun Chao. Looks like the move needs to be made before the last DRS opportunity, I believe, and Nicky has had another excursion.
For Nicky.
Doesn't lose a position though, importantly, so remains in 9th place. And everyone around him has a penalty as well, so that is also in his favour. Red Eye though, oh, okay, Nicky's lost it again, and falls outside of the top 10 now.
Who could have seen that coming? Anyway, Lanzy all over the back of Dace, only 4 laps remaining here as well. Dace with less ERS than Lanzy, who I'm sure wants this win as Nicky speeds into the pit lane, undoubtedly on his way to retire, I would imagine.
I'm probably going to go for the fastest lap.
Yeah, quite possibly actually, may as well.
You didn't see that one coming, did you? Oracle underscore Ants.
Didn't see that one coming, did you, Jack?
Crap! Maybe you are the seer.
Shut up, sit down. Anyway.
Wow, okay. Well, that's a 3rd consecutive retirement for Nicky. Not the streak he was after. But here we go. We've got a 3.5 tenth gap between the top 2. 4 laps left for a move.
Struggling a little bit for traction there as Slayer puts the pressure on him as well. He might be able to get this move done, Slayer, down the straight. He'll have the DRS as well as the slipstream and his ERS on overtake mode. Both of them similarly depleted with their ERS.
0% impact for the car behind.
Could Slayer dart down the inside? No, he can't. Not quite close enough to Unholy. He must be running some low wings because Unholy seems to have a slight straight line speed advantage, especially when you consider the fact that Slayer had that DRS. And same story here, as he just can't get anywhere near close enough. Maybe an Alfa Romeo could have made a move down the inside there, but nobody else could have.
I think we have to head back to the front battle here. It seems like a bit of a yo-yoing gap here. Lanzy does catch up in certain parts of the track towards sort of the first half of the lap, but Dace gets such a good exit from that last corner that you need to really slow down for, and that's enough to stay in front. So where can Lanzy make this move? He's certainly got more battery, so you would imagine probably into the seat of the Ligo on the last lap is his best bet.
Yeah, it seems likely, yeah.
Yellow flags for a McLaren just up ahead of these guys at risk of being lapped. I think that is Cynical. Yep, Nicky gets past. Cynical still struggling. He'll be right there, yeah, as the leaders go through. Yeah. The gap between 4th and 5th is still diminishing, but again, Ryan is going to run out of time, I think. It does seem rather safe in 5th place, though, which is, again, worth 12 points compared to the either 30 or 23 that Dace seems set to score. Dace, though, is flashing. Landsy has 27% battery. He is within 3/10 this time on the approach to Red Raposta's DRS zone, although Dace, once again, has the downforce through the centre S, whether it's the dirty air or just setup differences. Landsy struggles to follow through there. It's a pit lane retirement for Cynical. That is the end of his challenge. It was looking good for him in qualifying. And let's see, does he still have the fastest lap? That's the wrong... He does, so there is at least something there for him. Only Nicky and Army are on softs as well, but they are past their usual best lap point. Everyone in the top 11 on a 1-stop. There's a 2-stop for Nicky and a 3-stop for Army Forever. I tell you, Ryan's not giving up on his last gasp opportunity at 4th place here. That gap is now under 2 seconds. However, we are now on the final lap of the race. This move needs to pretty much come into turn 4 right now, and it's a weird line for both the leaders. I don't think either of them nailed it through the centre S. What is the opportunity here going to be like? No, it looks like Dace blasts almost all of the remainder of his battery. He's got 6% as he brakes for turn 4. Landsy's going to have to make this move on the run to the finish line if he wants to make it. He is incredibly close. Could he even chuck one up the inside at this next right-hander? That would not be unheard of. Doesn't get the exit, I don't think, to make that work. Very few corners remain now between these two leaders and the end of the race. It's 3/10 between them. Mogulio for the final time. Jun Chao now for the final time. And I think Dace has this one. Yep. Too much throttle for Landsy. And I don't think he could have done it anyway. But Dace will be mighty relieved to not even have to look back at this point. He's going to cross the line and win his 3rd race of the season. An important one for him to win as well. Behind, it looks like Dusty's going to have the DRS to defend. Scavney may have helped with that by falling back just to have Dusty within the DRS. So it's a podium for Scavney. He will definitely get driver of the day as well, up 11 places. Dusty just about holds off the championship leader, who scores 12 points. So 18 points bitten into the championship lead. So that goes from, I think it was 37 to, it would be 19 points now. So just under half the gap eradicated in this penultimate round. Cam Tizzle and Sharia bring their Red Bulls home in 6th and 7th. Knuckles, Slayer and Red Eye all within the top 10. Peter, Nicky and Army are going to be 11th through 13th. 2 of them yet to cross the line here. The retirements are of course listed there. Cynical, I actually can't remember who else it was. Shelley, Electric Blade and yeah, I don't know, can't remember. Oh, Texas Tornado, yep. 4 DNFs. So with Shelley out of that race, it will be the same gap of 18 points that Williams cut into the lead of Ferrari. So that will remain at 62. I don't think... Can a team score 63 in one race? I don't think they can. No. So Ferrari, albeit one car strong for the last several races, have won the Constructors' Championship for a second season in a row. Last season, of course, Ferrari won as well. And here we go. The final order is Dace, Lanzi swapping order from the front row start they both had. Scavney again, 14th to 3rd, incredibly impressive. Dusty and Ryan making up the remainder of the top 5. And that's Cam Tizzle, Sharia, Knuckles, Slayer, Redeye, Peter, Nicky, Army and Cynical finishing the race. Sorry, Cynical not finishing the race, but he's classified 4 laps down, so I believe he should get a point for that. And that's Texas Tornado, Electric Blade and Shelley. Fastest lap went to Cynical, pole position went to Lanzi, and the only drivers to finish without a penalty were Army Forever, Sharia, Cam, Ryan, Dusty, Scavney, Lanzi and Dace. Alright, so depending on these gentlemen's answers, would you be able to invite Dace, Lanzi and Scavney, please, Will?
Yeah. Bum 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 bum. The menu music goes so hard. Yeah, that was dope. That was dope. I just did the that was amazing. Scavney and
Scavney, Dace, Lanzi.
Lanzi's always set offline. I am going to punch this man. Lanzi 23. Bum, bum, bum.
Alright, Dace, are you with us?
Yep, I'm here now.
Nice. Scavney, are you with us?
Yep, right here.
Okay, so Lanzi may join at some point, but we'll start with the race winner, Dace. Oh, there's Lanzi, okay, good. Okay, so, Dace entered this race needing to encroach a little bit at least to mathematically stand a chance of staying within the championship fight into the last round, and cut just under halfway into that gap. 18 points gained this round out of the 37 point lead that Ryan had, so definitely an important race for you here, Dace. And did you expect to have an opportunity to make that sort of inroad into the championship lead?
No. Honestly, going into this race, I just wanted to prolong it and at least make him wait a week to win the championship. So the fact that he got 5th and stayed out during that safety car was probably the best thing that could have happened.
Absolutely. And of course, most drivers up the front did one stop, went mediums to hards. It was definitely the right call, I believe, to pit under that first safety car. However, when you did see him stay out, what were your thoughts at the time? Did you think, he should have probably covered me off, or do you think that it was just a risk that was not worth taking from his perspective?
A little of both, honestly. In this race, I thought Lancey was a bit quicker, especially in Sector 2. He was really, really quick. So that's really what I was expecting. I was just wanting Lancey to beat him at that point because I didn't think I had the pace to. So, yeah, when he stayed out, I just saw it as, wow, he just gave it to us.
Very good. And we noticed that when you and Lancey started from that restart, sort of back in the pack a little bit, I think it was 5th and 6th or something like that, you followed Lancey through really close to him in turn 4. I can't remember who you were passing, but did you find it to be key to just follow Lancey as closely as possible, make moves whenever he made one immediately so that you wouldn't have Lancey escape?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking there. Once I saw that Slayer went wide in turn 4, I knew I had to take it, or else that was kind of just going to get stuck.
Absolutely. Alright, well, final question to you is, do you think you can do it in the finale? It's Abu Dhabi next week. What are your chances?
I need a little bit of luck. Need Ryan to be a little bit off the pace, but I think if I win and he finishes 6th, I think that's championship done.
Yeah, I think your maths is pretty good there. Again, it depends on the bonus points, but yeah, that does seem right to me. So, alright, well, Dace, you've done everything you could do this race, and best of luck in completing that crusade towards the title next week.
GG's.
Alright, we move to Lancey. Can you hear us there, Lancey?
Yes.
Okay, so Lancey, you had pole position again here, and just like Japan, you led early, and then a safety car came out. Did that seem a bit of like deja vu? Did you think, oh, maybe I don't pit here, maybe I do? What was your thought when that first safety car came out?
First safety car, of course we were in the party with all the boys, so we just thought Hart would make it. So I just thought better to pit now than be the one stuck out. If another comes quickly after, and worked out this time. Can always backfire, but this time it worked out fine.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. And do you think that, well, I don't know what your tyre wear was at, I probably should have asked Dace too, but was it anywhere near puncture range at the end? And if there wasn't that second safety car, do you think it would have been a risk?
I was in the 60s for sure, because the light was on, but...
Yeah, I was around 64.
Okay.
It was still a way off from 75.
Yep.
Okay, and finally the battle with Dace, do you have any comments about that? Particularly, did you think that you had a chance on the run to the line? Unfortunately, we saw you get a bit sideways in that final traction zone.
Yeah, I think I definitely could have had the chance, but maybe I waited too long. Because I saw he was flashing earlier, but I thought it would be better to wait for the last moment. Fortunately, the tires didn't hold up on the end, so got a snap and had to be content with P2.
Alright, well, it was a very impressive P2, probably the most impressive you can be in a P2, because it looked like you had just as much, if not more pace than Dace. You had that pole position point as well, of course. It's another podium for Lancey, and you, I believe, are pretty much sewn up in 3rd as well in the driver's standings, so it's been an impressive season as well. What are your plans and beliefs of what you can achieve in the finale in Abu Dhabi?
Well, there's not real pressure, so we're just gonna go out there and just see what we can do. Don't really want to be involved in the championship battle either, so just gonna race my race to see what happens.
Alright, well, congratulations once again to Lancey, another podium in this season for him. Now we move to Scavney, the teammate, of course, Alpine with a double podium this week, and what an incredible drive it was for Scavney, who was the only driver to start on something other than a medium, and it was the soft tyre. So Scavney, let's start by talking about that decision. Do you believe that was instrumental in moving you up in that first stint and then putting you in a position to get to the podium in the next stint?
Not entirely. I just told myself right from the get-go, if qualifying didn't go my way, I was going to take the risk and go for the softs, because I knew I could take them pretty far, but we started in the stint, and it started they started to wear off. You probably see the gaps were increasing a little bit. It didn't help. Sharia and I believe it was Electric Blade tangled right in front of me, costing us a few seconds. But that safety car really bailed me out because otherwise it might not have gone so well.
Absolutely. All right, but you got the driver of the day bonus point there. Of course, 2 bonus points there for the team. Why was it though that you found yourself struggling in qualifying so much? Because clearly you had a lot of pace when it came to the race.
Oh, one lap pace just has never really been my thing, especially this session with the changing conditions. I missed time the final run a little bit, and then just didn't hook up the lap. It's about all it was, but just definitely not the perfect put together session.
All right, and that battle with Dusty in the final stint for P3, did you just have more straight line speed than him, or how did that pan out from your perspective?
It was definitely tense, kept me on my toes the entirety of the time. I could see right after the restart he was flashing right away, and I knew I had a low downforce setup, so I knew if I just played the battery right, didn't make a mistake, I'd be able to hold him off down the straight. So it's all about just being tactical with the battery and making sure the Ryan rods wasn't closing up at the end.
And talking of tactics and Ryan rods at the end, we have to ask, we saw that you'd made it out of DRS from Dusty at one point, but then he got back within it right in time to defend on that last lap. Was that by design, or did he just catch up to you?
That was not by design. Honestly, I was just starting to get a little bit worn out, and the tires were starting to go a little bit, so it just kind of how it fell. But I will say at the beginning of the stint, I was hoping to try to keep him in, see if we could slingshot up to the leaders, but ultimately just didn't have enough pace for that.
Alright, fair enough, Scabney. It was a great drive, and I think well deserved. Not only in-game driver of the day, but from my perspective, driver of the day as well. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Alright, Will, do you have any questions for these guys?
Yeah, I actually do this time. I've put some effort in. Days. We saw you obviously have a teammate. Ryan does not. Can you perhaps just speak a few words about your teammate this season and the role that they've had in the Constructors' Championship battle?
I'm trying to be nice, but more lack thereof.
I'm not.
I love you, Shelly. I really do. But yeah, I've I just mentioned last week that if maybe he had finished a few more races, would be an easy constructors win. With Scorenzy backing out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 races ago, and then Shelly DNFing 4 out of those 6. So yeah, hasn't been great.
Okay. Scabney. I could ask Dace this, but I'll ask you just because I already asked him a question. I heard a rumour earlier that Americans don't have Pancake Day. Is this true? Or do I have to address that as misinformation?
I've never heard of it myself, but we have days for everything, so I'm sure it does exist. I do love.
Are we talking about like a holiday?
Wow. It's Pancake Day this Tuesday, aka today for me.
Yeah, me
and
too.
you guys don't have Pancake Day.
Alternatively called Shrove Tuesday, which is a kind of religious connotations.
I would stress the difference between them, I think.
Pancake Day 2023.
Yeah, these guys
it's the same day as you.
Pancake Day. These guys, that's crazy. Oh my
We do.
God, that's.
It's the same as you.
I mean, like, it'll tell you the date if you Google it, but if you don't celebrate it,
Yeah.
that's cringe. Anyway.
Are you the only person that celebrates it?
No, everyone celebrates it. Like, I wasn't aware that there were people on Earth that didn't. Landy,
To be clear, it's not a public holiday, just so you're aware.
Yes?
do you have Pancake Day in Nederland?
No.
Okay.
No, we do.
Well, that wraps. Epic. Well,
March
that wraps up-
17th.
You bunch of frickin'. They're all
I almost
too
bottled
high
it
to
the
write
last
it down on
lap,
the
and I
calendar
only,
properly.
I only had Will's voice in my brain. So. You should love that, because I almost did bottle it, and I was just thinking of.
I wish I got this apartment that rent free. Honestly, I'd be living the life. Right, well that concludes my questions.
Alright, well, we will wrap it up in that case. Congratulations again to the podium of this race. It was, of course, Dace, Lanzi and Scavney. And we'll move on to the next race, which is the final race next week. Is a championship decider between Ryan and Dace. Ferrari have already conquered the Constructors' Championship. But for now, I've been Jacko, and my commentary partner has been Will Ans. See you next time.